Hello and welcome to a brief overview of the upcoming nonverbal ethnography assignment. I wanted to create a quick video because I wanted you to hear my voice kind of explaining some of these things, because it's one thing to see it on paper, but it's another thing to kind of do it. The nature of online learning is a lot of times we don't get to collaborate as much as I would like, so I want to make sure that we do that in any way we possibly can. I'm really excited about this assignment. I've used this for a couple years now. I've seen some great results. I think it's a really rewarding way for you to see how communication studies is actually a really heavy hitter in research. Ethnography is actually a form of research where you go out and you observe others in their natural setting, right? So you might go out into a gym and observe people working out, and that would be an ethnography or a participant observation. And that's really how you can kind of think about it, is a participant observation. So what I want you to do for this ethnography is I want you to put on your research cap. And I want you to actually go out into a natural setting and find people doing things with communication. Isn't that wonderfully ambiguous? But I don't want you to focus necessarily on verbal communication. I want you to focus on the nonverbals, because you've seen that that's a huge portion of this class and a huge portion of interpersonal communication. So I want you to observe that. So I simply want you to select a place where people gather that's familiar to you. So if you hang out at the library a lot, hey, that's fine. If you go work out at Starbucks or Panera, that's fine too. A movie theater. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. There is no right or wrong place to do this assignment. I would ask that you put a little effort into it. So don't just sit in your living room and observe your family, right? Go out and do something with it. Then I want you to select at least one nonverbal channel. Okay, so keep in mind what a channel is. You're probably going to visit the textbook, but these are things like proxemics or facial expressions, body movement, haptics, touch. You could go on and on and on. I want you to go into that setting and observe how the nonverbal communication behaviors that we've looked at in the textbook and in the online lectures so far this semester manifest. This might be in same-sex groups, might be in different sex groups, might be in dyads, which is a group of two, or it might be beyond that, it might be a small group. What I really want you to do is try to focus your observations on a small group of people. So don't go into a crowded room and observe everybody's nonverbal communication. You'll get overwhelmed very quickly, and your results aren't going to be very good. So what I want you to do, in addition to taking notes, I want you to actually draw or come up with some visual representation of the context of the conversation. Now, this is ambiguous. I'm not going to give you a lot of connect the dots instructions, because I want to see what you come up with, okay? So there's some flexibility here. What did that space look like? Was there a large amount of space between those talking? Keep in mind what the textbook has to say about space, how it ranges, personal, public, and everywhere in between. Were there other elements of the context that might have influenced the outcome of that conversation? For instance, did somebody fall on the ice nearby? That would influence things, right? Just get a big picture overview of what's going on. I want you to pay special attention to the behaviors that happen when people leave or join a group, okay? You might also observe couples and make note of their nonverbal behavior as they interact, right? Walk down the sidewalk at NSU and look at all the grossies who are engaged in public displays of affection. Well, you can learn a lot from that as a communication researcher, and that's how I want you to think of yourself as a communication researcher. Really, I just want you to be strategic and deliberative. Pick a space, pick a group, and stick to it. Don't just do kind of willy-nilly, observe two people for 5 minutes and then another two people for 5 minutes. Be specific, be calculated, okay? Don't think of this as homework. Try to dig a little deeper. After you do this, you should take careful, detailed notes on your analysis, both during and afterwards, and then I want you to write a 2 to 3 page paper summarizing your observations and relating them to what we have read and discussed so far this semester. Now you're thinking, oh, 2 to 3 pages, that's a lot. Here's what I anticipate will happen. You'll spend about 1 page giving me the big picture, right? Like, what is going on in this particular interaction? Describe the context, describe your thoughts, describe your feelings. I would anticipate this would be about a page. And then I'd like you to spend another 1 to 2 pages. Again, this is double spaced. I really want you to spend those extra 1 to 2 pages connecting concepts from the textbook. Some of you are really, really good at hashing out and explaining and giving examples and drawing parallels between the textbook and real life. That's what I want you to do. Some of you are prone to just go to the textbook, find the definition, and plug it in. That is not what I want you to do. I really want you to make connections between what happened and what the textbook has to say. So you're going to have to think about this, and I would definitely encourage you not to do it at the last moment. So just to recap, there are 3 elements of this assignment. I want you to take and observe the nonverbal elements of an interpersonal encounter. I want you to submit observational field notes, which includes a visual representation of the interpersonal encounter. So remember, you've got that 2 to 3 page paper. Probably on page 1 is an overview of the context and what happened, and then pages 2 and 3 would be connecting the textbook to that. Your observational field notes and that visual representation, that is above and beyond that 2 to 3 page paper, okay? So make sure you know that is above and beyond the 2 to 3 page paper. In that 2 to 3 page paper, make sure you have at least 7 elements of the textbook. Remember to cite if you're using information that is not your own. So if you're citing your textbook, just put a citation down at the bottom. You can find the format for citations online. You can go to Al at Purdue to find the APA format. There's also some examples in the back of your textbook that you could pull from as well. So remember that there are multiple parts to this assignment. So make sure you watch this video. If you have questions, please bring them to me sooner rather than later so I can help you understand them better. This assignment is worth 100 points total, so that's a pretty large chunk of your grade. So make sure that you're doing everything that I've asked. You have 30 points for the field notes and visual representation and 70 points for the paper. So you can kind of think of them as 2 separate assignments. This is due in about 2 weeks, so please make sure that you're working ahead and don't get behind because it is going to take you some time. You can find the instructions on Module 6 on D2L, so if you just go down to Module 6, it says Wagner, NSU, Nonverbal Ethnography. Do it there. You go back to Module 6, you can see where you submit it. Just submit it down here in the Dropbox. And as always, I will work to get them graded and back into your hands as quickly as possible. Make sure you're taking a peek at what's coming your way in the upcoming modules. Feel free to work ahead or at least know what's coming ahead. We are definitely working our way through. So thank you for your hard work so far this semester. It's been great really getting to chat one-on-one with you for some of you, and I look forward to those chats if we haven't had one so far this semester for the rest of you. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Please email me, contact me through D2L. And if you don't hear back from me in a timely manner, know that sometimes emails can get lost in the shuffle. I do have a lot of students, so please feel free to send me a text or call me or do whatever you need to do to get in contact with me because I want to answer your questions right away. Okay? I will talk to you soon. Good luck in the upcoming modules and the nonverbal ethnography.